just about 7 o'clock here, and all three Board of Selectmen members are on. So if you guys want to open the meeting and get started, we could do that.
Look who's there. Whoops.
I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting.
So moved. Mark Cullen, I moved to the meeting on April 2nd, Board of Selectmen at 7 o'clock.
Okay, is there a second, Josh?
Seconded. Josh Hanson seconded.
All those say aye.
Aye. Mark Cullen, aye.
Josh Hanson, aye.
Okay. On the new business, approve the Board of Selectmen's meeting minutes for December 9th, 2019. The Board of Selectmen's meeting for January 9th, 2020. Board of Selectmen meeting from January 30th, 2020. And the Board of Selectmen's meeting minutes from March 9th, 2020. Motion? Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Well, seconded, but on our agenda, we have them as separate line items, separate motions. So maybe we should follow protocol and do that. Richie, what do you think?
Well, we just, I read them all into the record, so we approved all of them.
Some of them I can't vote on, Rich.
I'm sorry?
There's some of them, this is Mark speaking, there's some of them I can't vote on because I wasn't a member of the board at the time.
Well, you vote on the ones,
Why don't I read them very quickly individually? I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the meeting minutes from December 19th, 2019.
second the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Josh Hanson, aye.
Yeah, okay.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the meeting minutes from January 9th, 2020.
I'll second the motion. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Josh Hanson, aye.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve meeting minutes from January 30th, 2020.
Seconded.
Motion second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Mark Cullen.
Josh Hanson, aye.
Richie Lombard, aye.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve meeting minutes from March 19th, 2020.
Seconded.
Motion second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Josh
Aye,
Hanson,
Richie.
aye.
Aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
We need, go ahead, Josh. Why don't you read the next point, B?
All right. I move that the Board of Selectmen execute gift agreement pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44, Paragraph 53A, and accept a gift of $50,000 from the Nahant Preservation Trust to assist the town with evaluating development of the property located at East Point.
Is there a second?
Second. Mark Cullen.
Okay. Discussion?
So people know that this is a gift agreement that's being put in place so that if people choose to gift money to the town towards issues related to East Point, this is an avenue for those gifts to be made.
Okay.
The initial gift is $50,000, and but that hopefully will be added to.
Further discussion?
Just one, Tony, is this a document that we can make public?
Yes, I can answer that.
Yes,
Okay, I would like to put it online so people could see it, please.
okay.
Just so people know, there's it will have our signatures. We each have a copy to sign, and we'll get those signed and up to town hall and scanned and posted.
We need a vote?
Yeah, we all, motion's been made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Ricky Lombard, aye. Unanimous vote.
Okay, I got one here, which, pursuant, let's see, alternative agenda notice. I move that the Board of Selectmen pursuant to 940 CMR 29.03, I move that the Board of Selectmen adopt www.nahant.org as the official method of posting notices for meetings of public bodies in the town of Nahant.
Is there a second? Motion's been second. Discussion?
Would you like me to talk a little bit on this?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the official method of posting meeting notice for the town of Nahant up until this point has been posting, you have to post it in two places. So we post one inside the town hall and one outside the town hall. Given that the building is closed, we've been posting meetings on the community calendar. So it's more of a formality, and that the online version of the posting would count as one of those two places under the open meeting law. So you guys accepting the Board of Selectmen voting for this and accepting this in allows us to count that online posting plus the outside posting as our two required spots pursuant to the open meeting law. Is that anything to add, Dan?
No, that's fine. We have to pick one. We can only have one official method, right? It's either A or B in that regulation you just mentioned. And the website, of course, as Tony mentioned, is one, but we can always post elsewhere as well. We can never post enough, to be honest with you, in terms of actually nailing something to a board or whatever. So yeah, Tony's right on.
I think we'll continue to post the hard copies inside and outside the building, but we're also going to be posting online going forward. I think it's something that people wanted to see anyways. So it's, we're kind of being forced into it with the coronavirus situation and the building being closed, but it's a good thing moving forward. So people don't actually have to go to the town hall to see if a meeting is being posted or not, or if a meeting is going to occur or not. They can go right onto the website and see what's coming up this week.
Yeah, I think that's a great, it's a great change. It's being done by the current conditions, but I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this change for quite some time, including me. So I don't have to drive up to town hall to see what the upcoming meetings are. So I think it's a lot more convenient for most people to go onto the website and see the posted meeting. So
I agree with you.
I think.
Although, okay, let's, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Ricky Lombard, aye. Okay, next.
Pursuant to Massachusetts Session Laws, Chapter 45 of the Acts of 2020, I move that the Board of Selectmen postpone the annual town elections from Saturday, April 25th, 2020 to Saturday, June 20th, 2020.
Mark Cullen and
Second, motion made and second. Discussion.
I can speak to this, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like.
Sure, go ahead, Tony.
So legislation was adopted at the state level, allowing municipalities to postpone their elections until June 30th, given the coronavirus state of emergency. So we spoke with a couple other communities, spoke with Etta, who was who we hired to run the presidential primary. We landed on three options: the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th. We tried to keep it to a Saturday so that at least it's somewhat normal, and decided on the 20th. the candidates that are on the ballot are set. The ballot questions are set. Nothing can be added, nothing can be removed. The only thing that is linked to the date of the election that will move with it is the voter registration, which has to be 10 days prior. Dan, shake your head yes if I'm right. 10 days
Yes.
prior.
Yeah, it's usually 20, but now it's 10.
Okay. Dan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, there is one major part of this temporary legislation, and that is that in addition to absentee voting, which is, a soldier or someone working abroad from Nahant can of course use, but they are now instituting what's called early voting by mail. So it's basically absentee voting for free. You don't need to read a reason other than I just don't want to risk going into the polling place. So you can apply to Carol Nelson, the temporary clerk, for an application for early voting by mail, and you never have to come to town hall. You can literally mail in your vote from right across the street if you wanted. So that's a significant provision of this particular legislation.
Tony, it's Mark. I have one question. So I presume the town meeting will take place sometime after this election.
Still before or after, either way. I mean, I guess I'll say that I'm pretty confident, almost 100% confident that we're going to have to postpone town meeting. It's unlikely that we're going to be able to put that many people in the room by May 16th. Whether we postpone it to after this election or before the election or beyond June 30th, I guess we're still waiting on some guidance from the state so once the legislation passes at the state and what our options are, we'll talk as a group and discuss, which way to go. But yeah, I would be expecting that town meeting is not going to occur on the 16th, but we're not prepared to take that vote tonight.
Yeah, I understand that. And I think probably sometime after the election, I know that last year that the town meeting voted to separate the two and to have the election first and town meeting second. So if we can, even if we have to postpone both, if we can follow the wishes of the town, I think that would be best.
So you would prefer to have town meeting after town elections?
Yes.
Okay. As long as, honestly, for me, as long as they're separate days is really the number one priority for me, because I think no matter what, if we're going to do June 20th, I'd like to do them upstairs in the main hall and spread the booths out and set up a safe polling station. So as soon as we get some advice or some guidance from the state, we'll add it to the next Board of Selectmen agenda.
Sounds good.
So that's it for discussion.
Okay, we need to vote on that?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Josh Heffernan, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Richard Lombard, aye. Okay.
That means you get 2 bonus months, Richie.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon.
You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that extra pay, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that extra, whatever it is, 88 cents or whatever amount, I don't know.
Well, not even close to 88 cents.
I think I give it to charity, so I don't get anything anymore. Okay, what's next?
All right, I move that the town apply. Excuse me, we're gonna start again. I move that the town apply for the title to the abandoned vessel Lady Apple II pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 91, Section 40, for the purposes of disposal.
Is there a second?
Seconded by Josh.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion.
Tony?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Dan, I'll let you tell the story on Lady Apple II.
In late October of last year, our harbor master got a telephone call from the police department saying that there was literally a boat drifting in the mooring field. It turns out that after Bob rowed out there to meet this fella on this decrepit boat, he found out that the boat had lost power as it was traveling from Boston ostensibly to Ipswich. And a fellow by the name of Frank Fournier was on that boat alone. And it was his claim that he just bought the boat for $1 and was trying to get it home. Well, as you can see, he never made it. And then he ended up mooring it to the town mooring temporarily with Bob's permission. But then he came back only once to try to retrieve it. And we really haven't seen him since. In a situation like that, the state actually has a procedure by which anyone really could try to apply for title if the boat is abandoned. In this case, we've met the statutory prerequisite for an abandoned boat, and our primary goal is to just get it off the wharf so the kids don't get up there and do something silly on it, and it's just out of the way. Mr. Fournier apparently has now just basically disappeared. Bob's having a really hard time getting in touch with him, so his cooperation is a bit of an issue. We are in touch with the environmental police. Officer Sweeney has been very helpful. So the next step that we think we should take is to try to get title to this boat and then dispose of it one way or the other to get it off the wharf.
I spent some time talking to Rob Thibault, our harbor master in Wharfinger, and once we take title, if we dispose of it, there's a cost associated with that. So if anybody wants a free boat, as Dan just mentioned, it's decrepit, and Rob confirmed that. But if you want a free boat, get in touch with Rob.
There are parts. There are parts on the boat. It has 2 motors, and there's got to be some salvageable stuff on there. I mean, it's a big boat. It's, I don't know, what is it? What is it, Tony? What, 28 feet or something? It's pretty good size.
It's like a cabin cruiser.
Yeah, it's like a 28, 30-foot cabin cruiser. From the outside, it looks pretty good. Rob offered to send me some pictures to demonstrate that it is decrepit. I said, I trust your judgment. So, but there, might be some value to somebody, and it will cost something to the town to get rid of it because it has to be disposed by an approved boat disposal place, and the fuel and oil is hazardous waste. So something to think about.
I'll just add that, this situation isn't ideal, but it could be a lot worse. We decided to get the boat out of the water as soon as we possibly could. The owner of the boat basically was non-responsive the entire time. And the last thing we wanted to do was have to pay extra money to get the boat, had it sunk at the mooring out of the harbor. So it's not ideal. And we'll have to figure a way to pay to get rid of the boat, but it's much a better situation than it could have been.
I noticed in this situation, we didn't have much notice. He just sort of showed up and tied onto the harbor master's mooring and sort of vanished. But I do understand, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but for anyone mooring a boat in Nahant, we require insurance, liability insurance.
We do. There's a hold on a second. Sorry, the ditch rock on there. Yeah, we do. I believe so. I think part of the mooring fee, we require that insurance. Yep.
Yeah, in the event that a boat sank or something, there was some damage, there was some cost in terms of cleanup and those types of things. There would be a mechanism for the town to seek damages.
There is, unfortunately, like you said, this situation was somewhat unique. This gentleman bought the boat for $1, and as he was driving it out of Boston, heading up to Ipswich, lost power and floated into Nahant, and I never saw him again.
So we were the product of a current, right?
Yeah. Trust me, I asked Rob plenty of times, like, if we could be the product of a current in the other direction. But unfortunately, it wasn't going to work.
That's funny.
You sure no one's living in that boat? You had the chief check that out, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to vote.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark
Aye,
Cullen, aye.
Aye, Richie. Okay. By the way, that boat had washed up in Bass Point, right behind the Kelly Greens. And then I think the harbor master pulled it off the rocks and then brought it to the mooring out there. And then they finally and picked it up and put it in the back of that at the end of the boatyard there. So I don't know what, I'm not sure about what's the worthy of the boat, but.
But the meeting stuff was at the end of the,
I think heat pumps don't work in extreme winter conditions, do you?
Someone just jumped on. Hold on. All right.
Well, anyway, that's
Good to vote?
all those
Yeah,
in favor say aye. I think we did. Aye.
Or, I think we already did, but
Oh,
We already
Sorry.
did it.
Yeah.
We all voted for it.
okay, so there isn't any ongoing business. We meet again next week. This as the first Thursday of April. And I don't have anything on town administrator report because, every day has been completely consumed by the coronavirus. And yesterday we had the virtual town hall, which except for one minor hiccup, it was, I think, extremely successful. And so unless, Deb, do you have anything you want to add or any new information to provide from yesterday?
No, nothing has changed. Everything going pretty well. I actually released 2 people from quarantine today, travelers that had done their 2 weeks of home quarantine with no complications, no symptoms. So, no, fingers crossed.
yeah, we had a very informative session last night for anybody that is on the phone today that wasn't yesterday. We got a briefing from several department heads and everybody, all the town employees and volunteers really stepped up, and they're doing all this extra work under stressful conditions and still fulfilling their regular duties. So, special thanks to all our town employees and you, Tony, for leading the charge, and Deb, you too, for finding all these health issues. So thanks to everybody, really. It's been a great effort. It's encouraging to see how well this community has pulled together.
Tony, a few comments. I just echo Josh's words. Again, thank you all for everything that you've been doing. We couldn't have a better team in place. On a brighter note, I did notice that there was a new light at the tower at the Coast Guard's at the life-saving station. And I guess there were a few people, Ken Smith and Emily Potts and Roz and Andy Corleo, a few others from the Preservation Trust Institute got together and they lit up the tower at the life-saving station. So it's sort of a beacon for welcoming the Nahanters back home at night. So I think it looks great. I appreciate their work. I noticed on social media that it's getting a lot of good comments. So anybody wants to drive by at night and look at it, I think it's pretty nice. And the second, I do want to give a shout out to one other person, Suzanne Macarelli, who's been encouraging. I know, Tony, she's been in touch with you and you've been coordinating with her, going to these virtual town hall types of things. So I'm glad that you were able to get this going so quickly and involve the town in our meetings the way you have. Things are working out just great. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. We do have Michelle Capano, Richie, Mr. Chairman, if you're okay, Michelle Capano is in the chat asking to participate in the meeting now in citizens forum, if you're okay with that.
I'm fine, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Hey, good evening. Well, first of all, I think it's wonderful that we have this Zoom feature available, so really a great job at putting this together and the collaboration. The question I had was, we know that you're working very hard. The town has to operate as well as our state government has to operate, but we do have an activity going on regarding Northeastern, and they've put out their final environmental impact report. The public comment period is going on right now, and it ends on April 24th. And so I was wondering if the Board of Selectmen are going to ask MIPA for an extension given the current situation. It's an anxious time for everybody, and the current situation just puts another layer of complexity. It would be great if the state could allow an extension of that comment period, because Northeastern is going to work aggressively to get that certificate and move forward with their project.
Yeah,
I would think that we need to request that, and the request, I think, would be for 60 days or for as long as the state of emergency stays in effect.
I agree.
I would agree also.
Tony, would you write that letter on behalf of the Board of Selectmen?
Absolutely. And just so you know,
And have town council check it, just to make sure that the wording on that document, very important.
yes, Amy Quessel from KP Law, who has been involved in all of our comments and extension requests, is already on it as far as reviewing the final environmental impact report. But I'm happy to talk to her about adding in an extension request, and we can
Yes.
get that. I thought I saw something, Dan, I don't know if you saw it, but I thought I saw something that came out of Environment and Energy Affairs about extension on permitting or comment
Well,
period.
there's something in the legislature now. It's that omnibus bill that's pending regarding the challenges being faced by municipalities, and it's in that bill. They're just basically tolling almost everything. We recently got notice from the Supreme Judicial Court saying that all statute limitations are being tolled for about 3 months, something ridiculous like that. So it'd be hard to believe that this wouldn't come within that circle of protection, but we can certainly make sure of that looking at the bill.
So if it's okay with you, I will also ask our state electeds, Representative Capano and Senator Crichton, to sign on to those bills.
Yes.
That would be appropriate.
Would be great.
Absolutely.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Thanks, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
I don't see any other questions in the chat. If anybody is on Zoom right now and has any questions for the board, please ask in the chat.
Tony, while we're waiting on that, I did have one question I forgot to bring up during my comments. I know we spoke a little bit on the phone the other day about this, and I don't expect an answer today, but regarding construction, regarding sort of landscapers and those types of people working around town, I know the governor has not made a ruling on this yet, but one of the issues, as you know, is having our inspectors going into homes, inspecting for electrical, plumbing, building permits, and those types of things. So I think it's something, at least on my radar screen, I'm sure that you're looking into it, and you'll advise the board what you think we should do at some future point. But I think it's an important issue.
Yeah, right now, my instruction to the building inspector, all of the inspectors actually, is that they only conduct inspections either virtually or by photo documentation. Basically, don't go in the house. We're still accepting applications which are submitted online. Dan and I and Jeff Blake and I have had a couple of conversations about construction in general. We have, the construction at the library started. We still have residential construction going on, so it's something that we're definitely keeping an eye on right now.
Okay.
Happy to have that discussion as we get. It was really strange, the governor was allowing construction to continue, and the guidance that we were getting from the state was to let it happen, let it continue. But then he kind of went in the other direction with Boston, and it sent a mixed signal to all the municipalities. So I know that the governor's office is working on something currently, and KP Law is very well tied into that. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll have a discussion as soon as we get more guidance. Dan, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, Nantucket, all 6 municipalities in the Vineyard, Somerville, they've all taken this no construction sort of stance. And it's really come down to the ability for the town or city to monitor what's happening on these sites. In addition to that, it's also come down to the idea that the hospitals that are servicing these areas can be overrun. So if the Board of Health or the health agent or the health nurse Deb comes up to the point where they think that this is just plain unhealthy, the Board of Health has the power to shut them down right then and there. That's clear, using some discretion in making that happen. So you do have the power. It's not unprecedented. Weymouth has resorted to only mandatory inspections, and I've also heard, as Tony mentioned, these virtual inspections where people literally walk around with their cell phone and show off fire alarms and whatnot.
Okay, I guess I'll just say I'll wait to hear from the town's public health professionals about this, and Tony, and I'm sure will be on the agenda as we move forward.
On a related note, the National Grid effort along Willow Road, that's closed indefinitely, or is that right?
I know Zach told them to stop working, and then on yesterday they had been out there again. So there must have been some miscommunication. He was following up with them on that. I'm sorry, guys. Zach was going to follow up with Faith. Zach was going to follow up with Faith at National Grid to see what their plan was. I know he's concerned about, given that DPW's on a skeleton crew, and Grenice, who we usually call in for emergency breaks, is also on a skeleton crew. So we're trying to be we want to get that work done, but we also don't want to risk a potential break again. So I know he was following up with them because the understanding was that they were going to stop, but they were out there yesterday. So we'll see. There's Michelle also had a question about the Jesmond Nursing Home and if there was any update regarding the residents' well-being there. Deb, do you want to take that?
Well, all I can say about that is I did have a conversation with the administrator. It was a couple of weeks ago, though, when they were putting those new rules into effect for no visitors. And then the week following it, I had a discussion with the nursing director, but I have had no information to think that there's anything going on there that would be alarming, or there's nothing positive going in there. I haven't heard of anything, to tell you the truth. So they have my information, and they know how to contact me if they need to.
Okay. And another question that came in was about landscapers, whether they are allowed to work or not. Under the governor's executive order or emergency order, landscaping was determined as an essential business, and it's allowed to continue. So as of right now, there's no restriction on landscapers. I guess the other update is today, the governor did announce that starting tomorrow, all coastal reservations, our parking lots are going to be closed. So tomorrow at noon, I think, the parking lot along the causeway will close. He didn't have an end date on that. Along with the parking along Linshore Drive will be coned off. Again, it's an effort to try to encourage social distancing and minimal numbers on public property. It included in that was, the language he used was, I think, transient activity, like biking and walking and jogging on the beaches. So similar to what we've done in the town of Nahant with our open spaces, we've allowed for passive recreation only. So we're in line with the governor on that.
And Tony, you might want to mention too that Dunkin' Donuts closed today.
Yes, Dunkin' Donuts is closed. They are reevaluating whether or not they're going to open up again. I know that they can be open for takeout, but the gentleman there, the owner of the business, is going to shut down for now and make a decision later on as to whether he'll open back up for takeout. So we're down to, I think, Seaside Variety and Seaside Pizza as basically our only food options in town, other than Council on Aging, which is doing a good job. We've had to cap it at 25. There's a lot of people that would love to get in on the lunch service there. It's a great deal. But you guys got an update on that yesterday. We have 4 different chefs that come in once a week, Monday through Thursday, and then we have Linda and Ann Callahan working in the Tiffany room with the chef to package and bag all those lunches. And then we have 4 different volunteer delivery people that each have picked a day, and then they do the deliveries Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, Captains is offering free service to seniors. Jen, great point. Yesterday mentioned on the virtual town hall was Tony Parentozzi mentioned Anchor
Food pantry.
Anchor Food Pantry, and I believe I don't know if that's been posted on COVID19.com yet. If it hasn't, I'll make sure it is tomorrow. But folks can also are going to be able to get school lunches, and all the information will be on our website.
Right.
That's it.
You know what that means? Bedtime for Rocco.
Yeah. Glass of wine for Tony. I
move to adjourn.
Motion to move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Motion made. Discussion. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Josh Entrim, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Aye. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Stay healthy. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.